Let me make certain that I have some things clear here. I thought the most interesting part of your testimony was your announcement that yesterday Treasury issued a new directive that in effect requires to give people a chance to have their loans modified before they are foreclosed on, as you just said.
Right.
If that is correct, that is a big change from today where borrowers have to track down the lenders rather than the other way around. You know, and I listened this morning in terms of, I think it was Mr. Dodaro, who indicated that there's a problem in terms of a bottleneck in terms of people not being called back, losing papers and all of that. I mean, you see that being changed or being turned around because, you know, this is a life or death situation with people. You know, and I guess the reason it's on my mind so much is that a lady who had 2 jobs, and of course she lost one of her jobs, and the company moved out, rather moved away. And now she has the 1 job, and she's just having difficulty paying her mortgage. And she went in for modification. And the things that she was telling me in terms of how she's not able to even get anybody on the line to talk to her about, you know, her modification. You know, will this change, or do you need more resources? I mean, what's the problem? Because there is, you know, up to this point, there's been some problems. I'm hoping that this, moving forward, that maybe would be better for people because I don't know whether you were here at the time, but we had a bunch of keys that we showed.
Right.
And those keys represent people who have lost their homes. And that barrel is going to get bigger and fuller, and this is going to continue if we do not have a program that really works. Now, I must admit your statement is very, very encouraging. You know, so do you think that we're really going to be able to implement this, or here we go again type of thing?
Yes. Thank you for that question. I think certainly we've seen a lot of frustration with this program since its inception. People who are facing the prospect of losing their homes have been anxious. They have been calling servicers. In many cases, they haven't gotten the answers that they needed in a timely fashion. There have been instances of losing documents, for example. I'd like to give you, though, some background on what's been happening, some of the reasons for it, what we've done about it. If you go back to a year ago when this program was designed, there was no standard approach to modifying mortgages. And servicers didn't provide service. What servicers did was collect payments every month and then foreclose on people who couldn't pay. What this program has done is to require them, first of all, to do something totally new, which was to deliver modifications that produce real reductions in monthly payments. Until this program was designed, most modifications actually increased payments that people had to make every month. So what this program has been designed to do is increase affordability for many people throughout the country who are under stress right now. So the first change was they had to go back, redesign their processes, redesign their systems, learn how to engage with homeowners in real conversations, and conduct tailored modifications of those mortgages for thousands and thousands of people. This they had never had to do before. I think for a while they were in a state of denial, frankly, about the challenges that lay ahead. Last summer, we called the servicers together. We pointed out the importance of outreach as rapidly as possible to these millions of people who could benefit from a modification over the next few years. And what we saw was a gradual and then accelerating increase in outreach. In fact, we set a goal for doing 500,000 trial modifications by November 1st. We were able to achieve that goal about a month early. But during the meantime, servicers had to increase capacity. That means they had to hire more people, train those people, and frankly, along the way, there were lapses in training and in capacity. Last fall, as the outreach was ramping up and we were doing more trial modifications, we began to see that conversions to final modifications would represent a challenge. So again, we engaged the servicers, and late last fall, we had our people and Fannie Mae's people in the shops of the leading servicers all day, every day, working with them, giving us reports twice a day on the progress in converting trial modifications into permanent. One of the issues with these conversions has been that last summer, because of the huge numbers of people who were desperate for modifications, we allowed modifications to take place on the basis of stated income instead of verifiable documents up front. Otherwise, we couldn't reach enough people rapidly because it would take them a while to get their documents together. And then the servicers had to reconcile the stated income with the documents that eventually were provided. And what they found in some cases that there were discrepancies between the stated income and the actual documents. So reconciling the statements with the actual documents has been a challenge. That's one of the reasons why this has been slow. Another is purely capacity of the servicers. And we've been pushing them very hard to increase capacity, and they have been doing so. Now, to take stock of where we are today, we estimate, and we've estimated consistently since last year, there are about 1.8 million homeowners who would be eligible for this program. We have reached, with offers of modifications, 1.4 million. We have 1 million people in active modifications today, saving many hundreds of dollars a month on average. I think if you talk to those people, those million homeowners, they'd tell you this program has been a success for them. So we already have modifications for most of the people who we think are eligible today. Now the challenge is to convert as many of those modifications rapidly as possible to final modifications. We estimate that right today, if you take the homeowners who have been in the modification program for at least 3 months and have made their payments and therefore are eligible for a final modification, about a third of those have either received a final modification and it's in place, or they have a final modification offer that was sent to them and only requires their signature to be effective. So about a third of the people eligible for a final mod today have one either in place or available if they just sign. We have more to do. We have about another 500,000 people who are waiting for their modification to be decided upon. And frankly, they've had to wait too long. We've kept this open to allow more time for them to gather their documents and for the servicers to review them. We expect that backlog will be decided by the end of May. And as a result of that, many more people are going to be in final modifications, and we will have essentially removed the backlog, and the servicers then will be able to be much more current in dealing with new applicants. We still have a goal, it has not changed since the beginning, of providing opportunities for 3 to 4 million homeowners to have trial modifications of their mortgages. And we expect that many of those will be converted to final.
Right. My time is long expired, so I now yield to the gentleman from California, Congressman Bill Bray.